this shul has been such a major part of my life for so many years. Even in our hardest few years, when we had a serious family issue, people stood by me, and I so enjoyed working here. And I became the biggest clapper of all during the rhythm songs. But more than that, Shoice and I, most of the time we saw eye to eye in all those beautiful years I spent together with him. But he was so, what's the word? He could think up things that nobody else could think of, and he saw Jewish life as changing, and he didn't want us to miss the boat. Of course, there's tradition and the Siddur, and he never negated that importance, but he always tried to find more exciting ways to get them, to get the congregation, who we call them, to get them to participate. And he said, listen, you have a nice voice, but the biggest compliment is when they sing along with you. And I was thinking, well, you don't want them to talk along with you on the sermon, but he meant it from his heart, so I didn't joke. And all those years, we had wonderful, wonderful, colorful years. And what should I tell you? High Holy Day services were, I don't know where to start. First of all, we had like a composer in residence who was the choir director. So, what can I say? He was such a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous composer, Amialoni. And he would get mad at the choir and he would raise his voice, but none of that mattered. But we sang his things for so many years. And then when he could no longer conduct and compose, he became ill and passed away, I think, before his time. I had the honor to work with one of my dearest friends, Dr. Noreen Green, for many, many years. And she kept his music as the pillar, the base of it. And occasionally we did some new things. And I had the time of my life, both with Noreen and with Ami, because, I'm not, as I said another time, I'm not a great music reader. So mostly I daven from my heart and from the Siddur. But sometimes if I would get a little bit lost, they would help me find my way back in the right place with the choir. And I enjoyed those years working with the two of them so much and with that wonderful choir. We had some people that I have to mention. I worked for many years with Ed Feinstein, and he was just magnificent to work with. I'm not saying that because he might see this, but I'm saying because Naomi Klibi, from the depth of my heart, he let me be me. He knew that I love to daven certain things. And so if he knew that I'm going to take a little time on him, he always made a justice for me to have the time. And I'll never forget him for those wonderful, wonderful things. And I'm going to be honest with you. He and I we never really rehearsed what we're going to do, because both of us did. Every time we knew what the order of service was and what was on the page that we made. There were 37 cues or whatever. But we always tried to do, each of us and together, all the years we worked together, we tried to do what was best for the congregation, that moment, that day, what had happened in Israel, whatever it is. So I thank him for that. And then Phil Barron is just a gem. He's such a gem. And he came, and he was a Disney production singer. And he was so good at that. And he wrote many, many songs. And what happened was that he found his own niche. He didn't try to imitate me. I didn't try to imitate him. But we just loved working together. He was the first one during those earlier years, to try a little bit more avant-garde music, I would say. Korzybitsky say stuff that didn't sound completely Jewish, but good stuff. You know what I mean? And I liked it because Phil is really a very musical man. He's written dozens and dozens and dozens of children's songs. He was voices for that. And that was a little bit of a trying to elaborate on the regular nusach, maybe starting the piece with nusach and going somewhere else and coming back with nusach. You know what I mean? To try to make the Jewish music evolve in the way that it was evolving in the United States and really the world. In the way, let's say, that we older cantors, when the Hasidic festival come on, we all sang, Oh Hoseh Shalom and Luchu Neranano. So he tried to bring in, and over the years, Navat Tehillah and other groups like that. And, you know, I wish I could sing that stuff, but, you know, he does it very well. I had so many other wonderful moments here. The Cantors concert. I tried to bring the greatest cantors in the world, and 31 years we had them. The cantorial concerts were too long, but people sat and they knew the cantors are what they're going to do. And then the cantors would sing some Yiddish songs, and I would maybe do a Carlebach medley. And then the four of us would, what we call horse around, and we would take requests and we would say, well, you know, with your voice, you can't do that. I can do that better. We just had those wonderful years. So I have so many things to be grateful for. How wonderful now that we have two younger people who have just joined our staff. Jackie Rafi, who has forgiven me for the time I said she has to learn how to smile. We all know that she smiles. And Rabbi Nolan Leibovitz, who is just a magnificent man, is the same behind the scenes as he is in front of the scenes. And just a joy to work with, so open and so giving.